Today I am here with a new lesson, Deep Water, written by William Douglas. Now, before I start with the story, I tell you something about the story. Let me introduce the author to you. William Douglas was born in 1898 in Maine, Minnesota. He completed his Bachelor of Arts with English and Economics, and then he spent his 2 years of teaching in the high school. And then he got tired of this job and he thought of pursuing his pursuing as a legal career. And so he became an advocate and he worked as an advocate for nearly 36 years. Now this excerpt is taken from his book of Man and Mountains, written by William Douglas. In this story, Deep Water, he talks about his fear of water and finally how he overcomes his fear of water. That means how he develops his fear of water as a child and then how he overcomes his fear finally. Okay, so now I'll start with the explanation of this lesson. 3 Deep Water by William Douglas. It had happened when I was 10 or 11 years old. I had decided to learn to swim. There was a pool at the YMCA in Yakima that offered exactly the opportunity. The Yakima River was treacherous. Mother continually warned against it and kept fresh in my mind the details of each drowning in the river. But the YMCA pool was safe. It was only 2 or 3 feet deep at the shallow end, and while it was 9 feet deep at the other. The drop was gradual. I got a pair of water wings and went to the pool. Now actually this story is in the form of the autobiography of the author. He discussed about his fear of water. That once it so happened when he was 10 or 11 years old that he decided to learn to swim. And there was a pool at the YMCA in Yakima. And that was a good opportunity for him to learn swimming. And the river Yakima, it was treacherous. Treacherous means it was dangerous. And so his mother continually warned him not to go there for swimming. And she always kept on giving him details so that it would remain fresh in his mind and he would not go in that river. But this pool, YMCA pool, it was safe for him. Why? Because it was only 2 or 3 feet deep at the shallow end and 9 feet deep at the other. So once one fine day he bought a pair of water wings and he went to the pool. I hated to walk naked into it and show my skinny legs, but I subdued my pride and did it. Now the author, he got a pair of water wings and he went to the pool. He hated to walk naked into it and show his skinny. Skinny means his thin legs. But I subdued my pride and did it. Subdued my pride means what? He overcome his feeling of shame and he did it. Means he just went to the swimming pool. From the beginning, however, I had an aversion to the water when I was in it. Aversion means dislike. This started when I was 3 or 4 years old and father took me to the beach in California. He and I stood together in the surf. I hung on to him, yet the waves knocked me down and swept over me. I was buried in water. My breath was gone. I was frightened. Father laughed, but there was terror in my heart at the overpowering force of the waves. Now from the beginning he had the fear of water. He had and disliked towards the water. And this started when he was 3 or 4 years old and his father, once when he took him to the beach in California. There he and his father, both of them stood in the water and the waves came suddenly and swept over him and he got buried in the water and he became breathless. And he became breathless and there was a fear in his heart at the overpowering force of the waves, that suddenly the waves just swept him up and that made him too too much he got fearful. He was too much afraid of that waves when he was that water totally buried him inside, and when he got totally buried inside the water. My introduction to the YMCA pool revived unpleasant YMCA swimming pool revived unpleasant memories and stirred childish fears. But in a little while, I gathered confidence. I paddled with my new water wings, watching the other boys and trying to learn by apping them. I did this 2 or 3 times on different days and was just beginning to feel at ease in the water when the misadventure happened. Now, when he went to YMCA swimming pool, he just revived his unpleasant memories. He recollected his unpleasant memories of his childhood, which feared him. But in a little while, he gathered a confidence and he started paddling with his new water wings, watching the other boys doing so, and he just started copying them. And this he did 2 or 3 times on the different days, and it became easy for him. But suddenly some accident took place. What was that accident? I went to the pool when no one else was there. The place was quiet. The water was still and the tiled bottom was as white and clean as a bathtub. I was timid about going in alone, so I sat on the side of the pool to wait for others. Now when we went to the pool, when no one else was there, that place was very quiet and the water was also still and the bottom was as white and clean as the bathtub. He became timid and he wanted to go alone. So he sat on the side of the pool and he was waiting for others. I had not been there long when in came a big brusher of a boy, probably 18 years old. He had thick hair on his chest. He was a beautiful physical specimen with legs and arms that showed rippling muscles. He yelled, "Hi skinny, how would you like to be ducked?" Now when he was sitting all alone there, at that time a big brusher means a big young boy, he came there who was 18 years old and he had thick hair on his chest and he had got swelling muscles. Rippling means swelling. He had got swelling muscles and he shouted. Yelled means shouted. He shouted, "Hi skinny." Skinny means thin. He shouted, "Hi skinny," and just asked him that whether he want to get deep into the water. With that, he picked me up and tossed me into the deep end. I landed in a sitting position, swallowed water and went at once to the bottom. I was frightened, but not yet frightened out of my wits. On the way down, I plunged. When my feet hit the bottom, I would make a big jump, come to the surface, lie flat on it and paddle to the edge of the pool. Now that big muscular boy, he picked him up and threw him into the deep end of the pool. The narrator, he landed in a sitting position to the bottom and he swallowed water and at once he went to he was at the bottom of the pool. He was frightened, but yet he made a plan to save himself. He decided that when his feet would hit the bottom, then he would make a big jump and come to the surface. Then he will lie flat on it and paddle to the edge of the pool. This was that he had planned when he went deep in the water. It seemed a long way down. Those 9 feet were more like 90 and before I touched bottom, my lungs were ready to burst. But when my feet hit bottom, I summoned means called, all my strength and made what I thought was a great spring upwards. I imagined I would bob to the surface like a cock. Instead, I came up slowly. Now, this 9 feet down seemed more than 90 to the narrator. He was totally out of the breath, and when his feet touched the bottom, still, with all his strength, he made a spring upwards. He came up slower than he had thought. He opened his eyes and saw nothing but the water. I imagined I would walk to the surface like a cock. That means he would move quickly to the surface of the water. But instead of that, he came up slowly. I opened my eyes and saw nothing but water. Water that had a dirty yellow tinge to it. I grew panicky. I reached up as if to grab a rope and my hands clutched only at water. I was suffocating. I tried to yell but no sound came out. Then my eyes and nose came out of the water but not my mouth. Now when he opened his eyes, he could see only water everywhere. And he grew panic and he reached to grab, he wanted to hold something so that with the help of that he could get out of the water. But only he could catch hold was of water. And he started suffocating, choking. Choking means suffocating means you're not able to breathe properly. I tried to yell, but no sound came out of it. He tried to shout, but because he was choking, because he was suffocating, the sound didn't come out of his mouth. And then his eyes and nose came out of the water, but the mouth still was inside the water. I flailed at the surface of the water, swallowed and choked. I tried to bring my legs up, but they hung as dead weights, paralyzed and rigid. Now, flailed at the surface of the water means his arms and legs, they were swinging violently on the surface of the water. You just imagine when a person is drowning in the water, what will he do? He would just keep on, with a great force, will keep on moving his arms and his legs so that he could be out of the water. We can just imagine that picture in our mind. So this our narrator also, he tried a lot, swinging his arms and legs violently so that he could come out. A great force was pulling him, but still instead of coming out, a force was pulling him at the bottom of the water. I screamed, but only the water heard me. I had started on the long journey back to the bottom of the pool. Now instead of coming upwards, he was getting back to the bottom of the pool. I struck at the water as I went down, expending my strength as one in a nightmare fights an irresistible force. I was getting dizzy, but I remembered the strategy. I would spring from the bottom of the pool and come like a cork to the surface. I would lie flat on the water, strike out with my arms and crash with my legs. Then I would get to the edge of the pool and will be safe. This was all his plan, how he would come out of the water. He thought that once his legs touches the bottom of the pool, then he would push, with the help of these legs, he would push himself up and he would reach to the edge of the pool and he would be safe. But that was not happening. And continuously, because of his movements of his arms and his legs, he, as if though his legs had become paralyzed, and he was, now his legs also has stopped working, so he was not able to move upwards towards the water. And then strangely there was light. I was coming out of the awful yellow water. At least my eyes were. My nose was almost out too. Then I started down a third time. I sucked for air and got water. The yellowish light was going out. Then all effort ceased. I relaxed. Even my legs felt lame and a blackness swept over my brain. It wiped out fear. It wiped out terror. There was no more panic. It was quiet and peaceful. Nothing to be afraid of. This is nice, to be drowsy, to go to sleep. No need to jump, too tired to jump. It's nice to be carried gently, to float along in space. Tender arms around me. Tender arms like mothers. Now I must go to sleep. Now when the third time, when he started to jump out of the water, he sucked for air and he got water. Means the water went inside his body through his nose and his mouth. All his efforts now stopped and he got relaxed. Means now totally he had become Now the blackness took over his brain and everything went quiet and peaceful. He felt as if though he was wrapped in his mother's arm. I crossed to oblivion and the curtain of life fell. He became, oblivion means he became unconscious. And the curtain of life fell means now almost he became lifeless. He had become unconscious. From first, second, third attempts he made to come out of the water, but he couldn't come out of the water by himself. The next day I remember I was lying on my stomach beside the pool vomiting. The tap that threw me in was saying, but I was only fooling. Someone said the kid nearly died. Be alright now, let's carry him to the locker room. And then one of the person helped him to come out of the water, and he laid him down and by his stomach, and he was vomiting at that time, was trying to take out the water from his body. And then after he was taken to the locker room. Several hours later I walked home. I was weak and trembling. I shook and cried when I lay on my bed. I couldn't eat that night. For days a haunting fear was in my heart. The slightest exertion upset me, making me wobbly in the knees and sick to my stomach. Now after several hours when he went back to his house, he felt the weakness and he was trembling too because of the fear. And when he lay down in his bed, he was not able to take his food. And for days together that fear haunted him in his heart. And the slightest exertion means effort. Any effort made, whenever he made any effort, whenever he did any of the work, his knees started trembling. And wobbly means unsteady. His knees was not having any firmness in it. And his stomach also became sick. I never went back to the pool. I feared water. I avoided it whenever I could. He went back to the pool, but he was having fear and he never made any effort to go over there again. Thus, piece by piece, he built a swimmer, and when he had perfected each piece, he put them together into an integrated whole. In April, he said, "Now you can swim. Dive off and swim the length of the pool, crawl, stroke." I did. The instructor was finished. But I was not finished. I still wondered if I would be terror-stricken when I was alone in the pool. I tried it. I swam the length up and down. Tiny vestiges of the old terror would return. But now I could frown and say to that terror, trying to scare me, "Hey, well, here's to you. Look." And off I would go for another length of the pool. Now, the instructor helped this narrator to swim, and the narrator was able to swim, but with the help of the instructor. Still, he wondered that if he was all alone in the pool, would he be able to swim all by himself without that fear which had struck him like anything. And he tried to do it, and I could say that he was successful in doing it. This went on until July. But I was still not satisfied. I was not sure that all the terror had left. This went on until July. But I was still not satisfied. I was not sure that all the terror had left. So I went to Lake Wentworth in New Hampshire, dived off a dock at Triggs Island, and swam 2 miles across the lake to Stamp Act Island. The narrator, he went on until July, and then still he was not satisfied, but still he thought that the terror was chasing him. So he went to the Lake Wentworth in New Hampshire and dived off a dock at Triggs Island and swam approximately 2 miles across the lake. I swam the crawl, breaststroke, side stroke and backstroke. Only once did the terror return. When I was in the middle of the lake, I put my face under and I saw nothing but bottomless water. The old sensation returned in miniature. I laughed and said, "Well, Mr. Terror, what do you think you can do to me?" It fled and I swam on. And then he started crawling. He had a breaststroke, he went to the side stroke, backstroke, and when he put his face under the water, he saw that that He saw nothing but the water at the bottom. The old sensation returned in miniature, means the old fear returned back to him. And at that time he talked to the terror. He talked to himself that to the terror which returned to him, that you cannot do anything to me, you just move away from here. Yet I had residual doubts. At my first opportunity, I hurried west, went up the Titan to Conrad Meadows, up the Conrad Creek Trail to Mid Glacier, and camped in the high meadow by the side of Warm Lake. The next morning, I stripped, dived into the lake, and swam across to the other shore and back, just as Doc Copron used to do. I shouted with joy, and Gilbert Peak returned the echo. I had conquered my fear of water. So, when he went to the warm lake and he swam to the other shore and back, he was thrilled with joy. Why he was thrilled with joy? Because now he was able to swim all alone by himself without fear. He had conquered his fear of the deep water. After putting the face inside the water also, he was now not afraid of the water. He had overcome that fear of deep water. The experience had a deep meaning for me, as only those who have known stark terror and conquered it can appreciate. In that there is peace. There is terror only in the fear of death, as Roosevelt knew when he said, "All we have to fear is fear itself." Because I had experienced both the sensation of dying and the terror that fear of it can produce, the will to live somehow grew in intensity. Now, according to the narrator, our author, he had conquered the fear, and he thought that death is peaceful, but there is terror only in the fear of death. When a person has a fear of death, that is a great terror in himself. And all as the Roosevelt said, that all we have to fear is fear itself. And that means a person should not have fear in itself, himself. Why? Because the fear of death cripples a person. The narrator had an experience of death as well as the terror, and that terror, when he overcomes that terror, he has now produced a will to live, to will to grow. At last I felt released, free to walk the trails and climb the peaks and to brush aside fear. And now he was released of that fear. He had got relaxed of that fear, and now he was able to go for long walks, to climb the highest peaks, and to throw away their fear out of him. So now we end with this lesson. We just learned how our author William Douglas overcomes the fear of deep water, and his will to live the life grows more intense. Now we'll be meeting in the next session. Take care and be safe.